Tell the lie, tell it loud, and suppress anybody who disagrees with you. That's Democrats. Let's do this. "20 years ago, if you said something that wasn't true, it was called a lie. Now, fast forward to now, boys can be girls and everyone gets a trophy. When the government puts out information, verified or not, that's the truth. And if you disagree with it, or worse, God forbid, you present evidence to the contrary, you get shut down. Joe Biden, Tony Fauci, the CDC, DHS, many, many more. They just lie. They suppressed any opinions contrary to the facts that they wanted you to have under the guise of mis or disinformation. It was all perverted twists to skirt the truth and support a narrative. This basically sums up COVID. Yesterday, the hammer came down on this, though. The House Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government report came out. This was an investigation into the Department of Homeland Security's, quote, disinformation program in what is called CISA, the Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency. Yes, I know, they use the word security twice, but that's what government does. But what the heck is CISA, and what do they do? It gets millions of dollars and basically spies, suppresses, or otherwise monitors you or anyone else who might go against the government's narrative. You know, for the greater good, of course. Now, the whistleblower Matt Taibbi confirmed exactly this during his bombshell testimony earlier this year.
We learned Twitter, Facebook, Google, and other companies developed a formal system for taking in moderation requests from every corner of government, from the FBI, the DHS, the HHS, DOD, the Global Engagement Center at State, even the CIA. For every government agency scanning Twitter, there were perhaps 20 quasi-private entities doing the same thing.
Technically, CISA became a thing back in 2018 under Trump, but it wasn't really an action arm, but rather monitoring public sentiments on social media. Nothing illegal about that. But since Biden took office, this program has greatly expanded. I mean, it's exploded, especially in response to COVID. But here in America, we have this pesky little thing called the First Amendment. It really gets in the way of this liberal propagandist agenda. It says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free speech or exercise thereof or abridging from the freedom of speech or press. Interesting. So feds got creative, much like Hunter Biden's web of complicated third-party big companies. The Biden administration again used another complex web of affiliates this time to do their bidding. If they can't suppress the speech, they allegedly just outsource it. That's what it's looking like. So they thought, who primarily donates to Democrats? Well, even after Elon Musk's takeover, Twitter employees still donated almost exclusively to the left during the 2022 midterms. Now, the numbers are actually so lopsided, we dug a little bit deeper in to find out more about that. Several other massive companies, they followed the same trend. Netflix, Apple, Adobe, Google, Microsoft, and of course, Facebook. That list goes on and on and on. There were tons of companies in there. But all of these companies overwhelmingly contributed to Democratic political efforts leading up to the 2020 election. Sometimes to the tune of, like Netflix, 98% Democrats. I mean, this really happened, folks. This weaponization, it's not a theory, it's a fact. This is from the report, quote, "This included the creation of reporting portals which funneled misinformation reports directly to social media platforms." What does that mean? Well, look, they went on. "We learned Twitter, Facebook, Google, and other companies developed a formal system for taking in moderation requests from every corner of the government, from the FBI, the DHS, HHS, DOD, Global Engagement Center at State, whatever that is, and even the CIA." It went on to claim, quote, "A focus of this fast-growing network is making lists," the Democrats love their lists, "of people whose opinions, beliefs, associations, or sympathies are deemed misinformation, disinformation, or even malinformation." That last term is a euphemism for true, but inconvenient. And you're probably thinking, like, malinformation, that's a new one. I've never heard of that before. Well, according to the same report, it defines malinformation as factual information that is objectable, not because it is false or untruthful, but because it is provided without adequate context. Of course, the context is determined by the government. You see how crazy this is? The U.S. government gave advice to tech companies and even nonprofits to shut you up. The Biden administration did more to suppress any available information on hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, or anything like that than it does to stop the flow of fentanyl. Think about that. They're supposed to represent us. The police state's here, folks. It's being led by a guy who every day has more and more and more evidence piling up against him and his family for corruption allegations. And this is just what we know about so far. Look, elections have consequences. And if you're not grabbing 10 of your friends and bringing them to the polls in the next election, you have no excuses when the state maybe, I don't know, takes your kids, shuts down your free speech, and eventually seizes your bank account because they don't like your government-imposed social credit score. Doubt me? Look, I hope I'm wrong, but I haven't been disproven yet.